Okay, let's talk a little bit about 0.3 Path of Exile, our new iteration of the game that has just come out. So I've gone through the acts with my mercenary and just want to talk a little bit about it because, well, there's been a little bit of kind of some hate going around about it, and I don't think that's necessarily unjustified, but I just kind of wanted to clarify what it felt like for me. And here we go. First of all, I really enjoyed the new Act 4. I think GGG, as they always do, they do a good job with moving the story forward. I think the environments were nice. I think it was a good continuation of the acts. Yeah, I think it was well done. But in my opinion, we're still facing a lot of issues right now with the game. The biggest thing I just wanted to talk about today, and I was trying to put my finger on it over the last day here as I'm playing through the acts, of what was really bothering me. And I pretty much narrowed it down to explaining it like this. It's challenge versus chore. Because people are confusing difficulty with pace. Personally, I do not think the game is that difficult right now. I don't, especially compared to POE 1. I think personally POE 1's a lot more difficult. It's the pacing of the game that is making it more of a chore than a challenge. The pace is way too slow. Dodging white mobs is not difficult. It's just annoying, and it makes the game feel like a slogfest. And what comes to mind in this is traditionally in ARPGs, like for example in Act 1, traditionally in an ARPG, you get your character on good footing. The first act of a game is you get a few levels, you find a few pieces of gear that genuinely help you move forward. The acts should progressively get more difficult, but not necessarily in the very first act. In PoE 2, the difficulty progression is just a line that seems to curve up rapidly without rewarding you. But at the end of Act 1, I was starting to feel like I'm starting to meet that curve and to at least be on a decent line of progression, progressing at a better pace, moving a little quicker, not actually moving faster with my character, but just being able to get through the mobs faster. Problem is, as soon as I started Act 2, I felt like I was level 1 again. It didn't necessarily mean I was having any problems or any difficulty with the mobs, because there really isn't a lot of difficulty. It's just I was slowed right back down again due to just, I wasn't getting the power. I wasn't getting the gear. So that's kind of still a big issue. It's not the difficulty, it's the pacing. You're fighting boredom more than you are worrying about fighting mobs or bosses. Like boredom is your biggest enemy in this game right now. I really feel like it would be very helpful, in my opinion, just to increase the base movement and attack speed by somewhere around 10%. It would smooth out the gameplay a lot. Why should undead, brain-dead mobs move faster than me? That, in my opinion, doesn't really make sense. I think if we just improved the character's attack speed and movement speed a little bit, that would be great. And yeah, I know they have sprint in the game now, but sprint, you have to activate the sprint mechanic, and it really feels clunky. It just doesn't feel good. Not that, I'm sure they could improve on that. Right now, that having to do a dodge roll and then hold down the key that you use to do the dodge roll to activate sprint, and you can go into options and you can turn on to leave sprint on until you stop moving. But the other problem is in this game, half the time you could just run into a little boulder on the ground or something, and now you're not moving, sprinting anymore. So it becomes a little bit annoying having to actually activate the mechanic as opposed to maybe being able to toggle it on and off. But yeah, improving the character speed, even just by 10%, would probably help a lot just to make things run more smoothly. The season mechanic. It's so far in my experience, it's more annoying than rewarding. As I'm playing through the acts, the fissures from the seasonal mechanic, they were often directly in the path I needed to go, with no good way around them. And I had done a few fissures in the beginning, and the rewards were garbage. So I just decided, okay, I'm not going to do these right now. I want to get to Act 4. I want to see what the new act is like. Maybe we could come back to the seasonal mechanic later. Nope. I mean, it just keeps throwing those fissures right in your face and being right in the way I need to go. So it feels forced. I think the seasonal mechanic, for example, like in Last Epoch, the seasonal mechanic, it shows up as these little claws on the screen that if you click on them, it takes you into the seasonal mechanic. But you could choose to avoid it if you want. You can avoid fissures during your run through, but like I said, at certain points, like one of the best examples was in the Manor Ramparts in Act 1. You know, you're running down these kind of narrow corridors and the fissure is right there in my way. So I have to deal with it, even though I don't want to. And that just makes the pace feel even slower, having to do something I just didn't want to do. So I would really like that to not be happening. And the last thing that I'm noticing is that we still have item drop problems in the game. And yeah, it's early access. These are things I'm sure I feel good about the fact that hopefully they're going to still be working on improving this, because nothing is dropping. To put it in perspective, almost all of the yellows I was wearing in Act 1 and in Act 2, I got from gambling in town. That's messed up. So there needs to be better item drops. Because really, I mean, if I'm actually getting more yellows from gambling in town, that just doesn't seem right. That shouldn't be that way. So right now, it just feels like every step forward, it's forced and it's boring. Again, there's the difference between challenge versus chore. Right now, the game feels more like a chore. Again, I'm fighting boredom. Boredom is my biggest enemy in the game. We need the pace to be better. I should not be the slowest thing in the game, too. And can you please fix the Val? In Act 3, I cannot believe these guys, white Val mobs, still go at 200% run speed, and they can leap halfway across the map and get behind me and surround me. And they're ridiculous. They need to slow them down or speed me up. I should not be the slowest thing in the game. My character in the game is supposed to be the hero, and the character does not feel heroic. So that's kind of my take on where we're at right now with kind of the state of the POE too. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on things, hoping that maybe they can make a few of these changes, even though they may never see this video. But, maybe somebody with a lot more subscribers than me might someday see it and go, hey, maybe he's making a few points that I can spread forward. So I guess that's all for now. See y'all on the next one.